We'll call this meeting of the North Bennington Prudential Committee, Graded School Prudential Committee, to order for February 12th, 2020. And first item of business would be public comments if we had a public, but we don't have a public. So we'll move to the treasurer's report.
So the lease payment for the village school was received at the end of January. The next day or a couple days thereafter, another one came in because the first one came in was for the first quarter of the year. So it is now, as of this week, fully caught up to date for that. And nothing out of the ordinary in terms of expenditures. The assessments were in there last month and what's on the warrant this month, but nothing unusual.
Okay. We will, I'll get to this later, sorry. Consent agenda. I've not looked at consent agenda. I'm going to have to. Can I get it through this?
It's on
just
that.
click it? I just clicked it. I'm getting it. Which one do I use? Is it? Minutes and the warrant are in the consent agenda. So, does anybody, I mean, we could make a motion to accept them and then we'll take comments on it and then we'll vote.
I move to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All right. Anybody has any issues with minutes?
Nothing that I'm seeing.
Okay. And the warrants?
We're looking at the just need to print out.
Tim Schrader did the minutes in this case.
I did the minutes for the continuation.
The continuation.
Lori did the minutes for the regular meeting.
You did a great job. You should do it more often.
Not gonna be on
You
this
won't be
board
here.
next month.
I know.
let's see, well, we have a warrant. Pages. General fund, vendor, Catamount Access TV. That's got some back months in it that we hadn't paid for, or hadn't been billed for, so 650, that's 3 months basically. And it's payment to Lori for taking minutes for us. Yeah, that's the first one. And the next one is payment to the village school for February in an amount that we had figured out an adjustment for based on numbers. But the actual census for February is one less. And so we're going to have to readjust it a little.
No, I may have been incorrect, but so I'll get back to you.
Okay.
I'll get
So
back to you.
I'll have to look at what
Yep.
Tammy said.
Yep.
So, can that remark, because I don't know what I'm talking about. So those are the warrants and the minutes of January and the continuation of the January meeting, wherein we approved the budget proposal for the annual meeting for this district. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. What else? Should always have
The agenda.
the agenda in paper.
Would you like a copy of it? I have a copy of it. Yes?
We have some policies to approve. So,
Adopt.
Yep. I don't think we have any issues with any of these. So.
I would make a motion to adopt policy 5,050, 5,065, and 5,400. In that order: discipline of pupils, suspension, expulsion of pupils, verbal, physical assault of employee, and student safety.
I'll second that motion.
Any comments? Seeing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So basically, we just need to talk about the annual meeting reports. So this could be pretty brief if we don't have, you know, if you look in the packet I sent that had from Amanda, which had the minutes of the annual meeting from last year in it, at the back, you would see the layout of the presentation that Tim made, Tim made. Tim Schrader first, and then Tim Newbold, Tim for the district, and Tim for Newbold for the village school. And they seem to be pretty comprehensive, so if you want to continue, I mean, do we want to just do those the way they are with the new information plugged in for?
That's the easiest for me.
Yeah.
Is Kim out of action right now?
She has surgery
yet?
tomorrow,
Okay.
and her mother was coming in today to take care of her and kids.
Now, given that this is going to be my last official act as a member of the Prudential Committee, I was thinking it might not be a horrible idea if I actually went through these spreadsheets with somebody who we continue doing on as a member of this committee, so that I can easily update it again next year.
Okay, I guess that would be me.
I thought Kim might be a good person.
Oh, you mean for someone to do it?
Yeah, for
next year?
somebody to do it.
Yeah, you definitely don't want me doing that part of the computer.
That's, yeah, that's my concern as well.
Mhm.
Basically, I'm not PowerPoint compromised.
Yeah, and I've got all of this in Excel spreadsheets that then make the graphs and
Yeah.
and then port them over to PowerPoint.
There was a time in the late 80s I could do that. It was a different animal at the time.
Yeah, I wonder what the,
Are you going to be gone next year in
I'm
March?
probably gonna be here next year, so I could,
Not that we're going to ask you to do it, but,
plan on spending some time with you next year.
right, that might be helpful.
Is I forget the name of the person who's running for nice.
Kieran, he's pretty tech savvy, I think.
Tech savvy, so maybe,
He's a Comcast guy, so.
We might put that in
yeah.
his letter.
Okay.
And he now works for.
We'll find out.
Yeah, in
And if
Albany.
Whatever, we can,
yeah, so maybe next February I can sit down and
that'd be probably the most helpful for the rest of us as well as seamless.
For me, this is fairly easy, but this is what I do.
That's what you do.
It's my job, so
Yeah.
it's,
Right.
but I recognize that it's not that way for the bulk of the population.
Yep, definitely not. It would have been helpful if the interactive part of our budget allowed us to actually change things and see numbers change in the summations. For some reason, they disabled that.
Yeah, that was, for me, like having my arms chopped off.
Yeah,
Really frustrating.
right. Yeah, that meant I did things with a hand calculator. Going through stuff. Any rate.
So I currently have a copy of last year's PowerPoint.
Yes.
Do I have a copy of this year?
No.
Okay.
The whole idea is to
This year.
review
Okay.
that PowerPoint and say, yes, we want
Yep.
that with new information. And the same would be true of Tim Newbold's presentation, which of course you would update for anything new you want to say about this year. And I think both of those were really great presentations. They have been for several years since Bruce Learman started doing the one that we did, the PowerPoints we did.
And this year, forgive me, it's on leap day, right? It's on the
It is.
29th.
It is indeed.
Okay, thank you.
Saturday the 29th. Now, last year we came up here. Was it cold downstairs? Is that what it was?
No, we just felt like this was a
That
more
we
comfortable
cozy.
space
Right.
because we felt, using that huge space and only having, I don't know, 15 or 20 chairs.
People here.
Right.
We
It's
could
cavernous
easily
compared to-
accommodate them up here
Yeah.
too. And then we made the elevator available for anybody who may need it.
Right.
That
So
makes the most sense.
I think we may do that again,
That's fine.
but we'll need permission of the assembled brothers to do
Okay.
that, I think. Did we have it last year?
So I was not.
You weren't here.
I was at work.
I don't remember that. I just remember being up here.
Put a thing on the door.
We
I don't
changed it.
remember starting downstairs and taking any
No.
vote to
No, we
move.
just,
Okay.
we just,
Yeah.
we just were,
Right.
we just were up here.
It was all
We
set
put a note on
up.
the door and assume implied consent.
Yeah. Well, let's manage this year to get it in minutes that we'll do it out in the library.
In the
Just
future.
for, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, it's already in the warning notice.
Yes.
Well, we'll just make sure that one is just there as well. Some people might want to come in. the side
Right,
or
the
that.
side door. The walk-in.
And I think I've got definitive assurance that we'll have coverage that day. So
Okay.
I intend to be here.
So that would mean that for the board, it would be Matt, Tim, and myself. I'm not expecting Maria, and I'm not expecting Kim. So, I mean, I don't think, thinking about the action that goes on there, that the board needs a quorum for that, because we don't do anything.
It's not our meeting, right?
Yeah, it's not our meeting, it's the community's meeting. The moderator controls it. And we just need someone there to do the reports.
Well, it would be nice.
It'd probably be good if we had a quorum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's my intent.
yeah. Plus, there may be questions. Maybe someone else wants to answer them instead of me sometimes, so that's good. All right, so if we're sold on using the presentations we've had in the past with whatever new wine and old skins, so to speak.
So in here, I've got some pictures of the boys' bathroom that just redone, so maybe
Maybe
we should
take
get
a couple
some
of the
pictures
girls.
of the girls' bathroom. Phone.
Quality of the phone.
Probably good enough.
Probably good enough, yeah.
Yeah, that's good enough.
What else do we do for building maintenance? We do
The parking lot.
parking lot. right.
Parking lot, yeah.
Snow.
We have been trying to get some estimates from roofers that could do a job our size with the materials, but we haven't been successful so
I'll try
far.
that again. I mean,
The company that came up and looked at this.
they would also be interested in,
Did-
I don't remember off the top of my head.
it seems like you did say that they,
Mm-hmm.
Pinnacle.
Is that what it was? Yes.
Pinnacle.
Okay, so maybe I should just make some notes here. So last year, the future plans. for
Why don't you run through it, make notes, and ask questions for us to answer if you don't know the
Okay.
answer?
So we start with a nice photo. Like that photo? Do you want
Mhm.
photos? Okay. State of the district. I can update this. That's really not much to update there. Budget summary. I'll need to go through and adjust all these numbers. So then we've got a graph on tax burden. I need to add a column there. That's going to go up a tiny little bit. And then, yeah, so I'll need the numbers. So what are we forecasting for students?
Okay, well, we have a forecast of 144 cases. And approximately 30 pre-K,
All right, so.
which is a pretty large increase. Yes. We have 137 right now, or 36, somewhere right there.
Okay. So how many are we projecting at the village school?
We're projecting 114,
Okay, that's the same as we projected last year.
yes.
We wound up below that,
This
right?
year, we are
Yeah.
much more likely to hit it, I think.
Okay. Other independent schools, what are we projecting for other independent schools? So we have one, third.
South Shore is 12, Island Hall is 8. No Long Trail because that's only 1 year deal. And the SVUESD is projecting 10, but I'm not sure that's stable. we'll see. And we built the budget on those numbers. Those are the numbers I'm giving.
So it would be, it's now a new thing, it's not just one, it's
Yeah, what do we call it? We happen to have their ballots.
Yeah.
Swim to do.
Sent the wrong ballots.
SVUESD,
SV.
Southwest Vermont Union
SVUESD.
Elementary School District.
West.
So there's, I think it's just SB, and then you look at.
SVUESD.
USB. It's 6 last year or something.
I think I spent a little time on that, something better.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
So this will be for us a +6. From this current year, or is it from our projection from last year?
Let me go from current here.
Yeah, so it'll be a +6.
Okay. 144. That's good. All right.
So what do you have for, you show the other independents on last year's?
Mm-hmm.
So
But
you
we don't
need-
have any at Pine Cobble anymore, so I should delete them, huh?
There was one this year.
Are we going to project?
No, there wasn't. Sorry, that was last year.
Yeah. So now I'm just including Highland Hall and
Yeah,
Southshire.
yeah.
On there.
And those numbers, the numbers for FY, that's the numbers we had in the budget this year. So the actual numbers this year for SD, UESD, 11,
We're projecting 10 for next year.
yes, but that's the number they gave me.
Yep.
Last year for Highland Hall was 8, so it's going to continue at 8. Southshire was, currently is at 9.
So, and they're projecting 20.
Should maybe I should, what I've got down here is the budget number that the budget was built on. Maybe we'd better use that, even though it's different.
Okay.
So the SV, UESD was 6 in the budget for the current year. Highland Hall was 7. Southshire was 6. BSNB was 114, for a total of 133.
All right. So
The actual number, you want the actuals next to it?
we only need so much data.
And then, as I said, the budget this year, for next year, is built on 10 for SV, UESD, 8 for Highland Hall, 12 for Southshire, and 114 for UESD.
Cool. Okay. What's our total equalized people with pre-K projected to be?
For 21, last year was, well, kind of varies depending on what you look at, because it was 16,627 in our annual report for the elementary per se. And then if you look back at, how does this happen? I don't know. If you look at the combination when the elementary gets combined with the MAU, it suddenly dropped to 16,585. But the elementary is the one we're going to compare with, so 16,627.
16. What What number is that? What is it?
That's equalized student, equalized, it's education spending divided
Okay, okay.
by equalized pupils. So
Sorry,
it's
what's our
ES
number of equalized pupils?
For last year, it was 148.
Yep, what are we projecting for this coming year?
It's 145 and change, but 145. And the comparative number for 21 is 17,987.
Okay. What was it?
17,987.
Yep.
What else do you need?
That's gonna have to be good. Well, I'm gonna need to go and break down the expenses, but I'll have to go into the budgets.
You want to go with that?
Yeah. I don't think we should mess with that too.
Well, if you have any questions, you can ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Going through it. I don't have them in a spreadsheet, I just have them in notes. But
Okay, so we did the girls' bathroom,
yeah,
and we do all the security enhancements, which of these did we do?
not yet.
Any of them?
We're doing the phone and the PA, and all this, so it'll be done by the time that meeting, well, mostly done in that particular, bunch of those type things.
Okay. Okay. We did not do the remove dying trees and new plantings, is that correct?
That's happening, and it's scheduled to happen in April.
Did that get reworked out?
Ron and I talked,
Thank you.
He was willing to
Replace
to bump it out of the February bid.
We're getting bids on the roof replacement. Did we upgrade the boiler control system?
No.
Not really. We upgraded the programming got upgraded, not the control system per se, it's the graphic interface and
We still have something we want to do with that chimney.
no.
What there was.
You could put a cover over it,
Just a way of,
deflecting the water.
and also reducing heat loss when it's not. I thought there was some control that was recommended, but never mind.
Well, Jimmy had talked to Darren Sharp, and there was something there, but we didn't do it because there was some, it was actually in the boiler room, it was a clean out. But we didn't do that.
Okay, and then
There was talk about a cap on the chimney. When Jimmy was here, he wanted a cap on the chimney, but I don't know, I mean, we haven't done it, and I don't know if it's wise or not. I have no idea what it would do for us, other than keep rain out of the chimney, which might be a good thing because probably erodes the
It does.
masonry over time.
We had paint cornice trim here. We're looking at that coupled with the roof job now, right?
We're trying to look at it that way,
Okay.
because that's something we do have to get started on this year, this summer.
And what else are we thinking about for the coming year? Just big.
Yeah. you've got some-
Well, we're gonna help with the security upgrades. We've got the roof. Although Pinnacle said it was fine, right? I mean, they at least where this.
They couldn't see anything that was causing an obvious leak. Right, so that's why
Right.
they said you had to come from underneath.
Yeah. So, I mean, it may be that the roof is capable of going another year, but, I mean, the idea that Matt and I and Kim had talked about was that we would try to do sequentially in a short period of time, do the roof and then do solar if it's possible. A solar installation. And the last conversation I had with Bima at Power Guru, he seemed to be talking about, not this summer, but maybe next summer. We could still do the roof, that wouldn't be a big impediment to putting solar on it the next year. It might have worked out that way anyway.
I can see, or it might work out anyway, that we can't get any contractors to do the job until next spring, and then hopefully
Yeah.
maybe get
Right.
the solar going in the late part of next.
Right. So I guess what we should do is, I mean, we'll have to bid the roof. And the question is whether we bid it this spring, which we don't have to have it done this summer, it appears, but it may take bidding it now to get someone to do it the following summer, what I'm saying. So we might as well hop on the case to avoid being stuck with a leaky roof and no action in a timely manner.
Do you have the contact names of the people that came up from Pinnacle?
I can get it, I don't have it. Rachel did that.
I mean, I'd be happy to track that down, or then I can contact them, so we'd like I think the faster we move to, rather than just them coming and looking, going straight to, we're gonna do this and we need a bid, so if you want to bid.
Right, maybe that's the way to do it.
um,
And that would be, you know, people would be sent letters off asking them to bid, and it would be advertised.
And we would get help from the SU on that, correct?
Yes. Renee would run that process for us.
Yeah, that's
I
the way
think
we
she
have
would
to
enjoy
do
it. So, seems to me that we could say that that's what we're going to do, because I think that does make sense. I don't, it's similar to the oil tank that was in the ground for 50, 60 years. You know, it was like the probability was that we were going to have a problem. And as it turned out, we replaced it, and the tank that was there was said to be fine.
Decent shape.
Now we have a really great tank and good controls, readouts. It's good for another 50, 60 years. Maybe good to the end of our use of oil.
Matt, I don't have it in my email, but.
That's fine, just, yeah, send it up to me.
Okay, then we have other MDPC issues, Act 46, which we just
We're-
delete
That's done.
now,
We could just
because
say
that's done.
we're done.
And then I just said had fiscal year 20 budget, which is a little change from fiscal year 19, which I think we can basically say that.
Well-
Same thing.
It is changed, you know, costs went up, tax rate is going up. And that's, you can see that in looking at version 3 is the one that is actually the actual budget that we picked. It's 2,928,000.
What are our main reasons for the costs going up?
Well, read my letter
Yeah, his letter
in the annual report.
in depth.
All right, Yeah, I have not read your letter yet, so.
It's in the report that I sent you, I've sent everybody, that has the pages that we have control over, and my letter is one of those pages. And but for the details, the number details, you can get them from my report, but you want to refer back to version 3 of the budget itself, which you should have. And if you have questions, you can ask them, of course.
I'll make myself a note.
But primary reasons, there are two primary causes. One is there's a lot of new students being expected. And the second reason is tuition rates go up because costs increase. And
That's reflected.
one
in
of the
healthcare.
important drivers is the increase in health insurance premiums. Because all the other things that drive the budget, they're only fairly modest increases. But healthcare is like 16–17%.
Okay.
So that adds a lot. I did calculate the distribution of number of students and increasing rates,
That's all in the letter.
and that's in the letter.
So, if we're increasing the number of students, that shouldn't change our per pupil spending so much.
It drives the total number of spending on tuition.
Yep.
And then the other thing, you have to read what I said, because I'm just going to repeat that, because 1.7 cents of the increase is due to the fact that though we had more ADM and should have had a little bit more equalized pupil, when the census occurred in October, the cert rate for free and reduced lunch was low compared to our historic numbers, and we lost 3+ equalized pupils, and that causes 1.7 cent increase, all by itself. And then with the other increases, you get the rest of the rise out of it.
So, the total,
And then CLA is the final thing that adjusts that cost up for North Bennington and drops it for Shasbury.
so pre-K to 6 equalized pupils projected for 21 is 145, is that correct?
That's the basis of the budget, yes.
Okay. So that's actually down from last year. Last year we were projecting 140.
148.10, so it's three down.
It seems hard. That doesn't seem to jive to me because in our K to 6 we're projecting 144. So why are we projecting 145?
You're talking about ADM versus equalized pupil.
Yep.
There's a whole calculation and a whole other things added in, which I did send that chart for 2 years of that calculation.
Okay. I'll look through it all. I'll try to distill it into something interesting.
Right.
Okay. I'm good then.
And another thing that affects it is that the rate of the amount of increase on the yield per dollar of taxes only went up 2%, just over 2%, whereas the budget numbers are up. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it depends on what you're looking at for how much it is. The total is up 8%. The equalized pupil ratio is up 8%, but the actual budget actual to the tax rate is not up that much. Okay. Yeah. So what I have down here in the bottom is that of the total increase in costs, 3.9% of that was tuitions for pre-K, 94.7% was K-6 tuition, and then you could break that down into the two factors of increase in number and increased tuition rates. And 1% was special education expenditures. And that accounted for just about all of the increase. Our actual administrative assessments from DSU were down just a little bit. And then the only other two factors are increase in the property insurance and what's that last one? There's one other small amount that's in board expenditures. But most of it's. And I think I explained it better in my letter, so.
I'll read your letter and extract what I need from that and the budget spreadsheets.
Okay.
I'll get to that in the next few days.
Right. So, yeah, let's see. The tax rate, the equalized education tax rate was up 7 cents. So that's compared, you're talking about something that's in the 150 range. So it's that probably makes it about 6%. 6.3. Anyway. And I will be happy to answer these questions a little bit better, because I'll relook at my numbers here and figure it out. All right, and sorry to bore everybody with this detail, but I don't think we have anything. Oh, there's one other item on here, tuition agreement final census. I just received it today, email.
I'll send it to you momentarily.
Okay. And so that will, I don't know whether it's going to force us to change. I calculated the balance of payments as no change, but maybe there will be a change, I'm not sure, because I don't know the number. Tim was talking to me about that maybe another child is not going to be in the census. Anyway. So we'll adjust that, and we'll know what we have to pay for the rest of it through May, which is when our payments end. I think I have no other, unless someone else has something they'd like to say at this point.
I would make a motion to adjourn.
Everybody's asleep. Okay, I'm fine with that.
I'll second that.
Mayor, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.